Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania platformer created by an Australian studio called Team Cherry. First being shown in a Kickstarter from 2014, it became a standalone game which follows this little knight, who for a very important reason decides to go far from their home to this desolate and gloomy kingdom called Hollowness, that is being slowly consumed by the infection, a harrowing orange liquid that takes control of any insects that dares to approach it. Oh yeah, did I say that every part of this kingdom and the game in general is bugs? As much as I despise bugs, Hollow Knight has this unique charm that makes them lovable. I mean, look at this thing. How can you not find it cute and adorable? This is just one of many examples of how the studio made something so universally disliked, in this case bugs, fun to be around, making you want to learn more about these little critters, and of course challenge them in epic boss fights that are so expertly crafted you cannot even get mad when you die. And trust me, you're going to die a lot. These fights create this magical David versus Goliath effect, which you control in the little knight and battle in this major threat that is currently blocking your path. It may feel impossible to win at first, but once you do, you're going to feel like a champion. This little knight, who is seemingly just a shadow that nobody cares about in this world of major threats that want and will kill you, has done something astounding. And I think that is what really got me into this game when I first played it, not to mention the amazing world building, the characters, and the satisfying gameplay that just ties it all together into this masterpiece of a game. And it's exactly why it's such a big deal when Team Cherry announced a sequel, Hollow Knight Silksong. Silksong was originally announced back in February of 2019, as a response to the Kickstarter chart of goals set by Team Cherry during Hollow Knight's development, in which it planned to be a DLC expansion featuring a second playable character. During the early stages of development though, they changed their mind and decided to make a fully fledged sequel to the original game that follows Hornet, an important character from the previous game. All in all, this game was going to feature a completely brand new story that had the player ascending to the peak of Pharloom, a new kingdom that exists outside of Hollowness, action that looked better than the previous game by a huge margin, over 150 new enemies and many new bosses, and last but not least, the return of great places and lovable characters to top it all off. Just a month after the announcement, Team Cherry released a small blog post update to Silksong. This update showed us all the new characters that we will be meeting in the game. 3 months later, during a Nintendo Treehouse event, Silksong demo gameplay was shown.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. I'm Sam, joined by Audrey, and we have Katie here from our publisher and developer relations team.
Hello, hello.
You are here to show us some Hollow Knight Silksong.
This was huge news, as it showed us what the gameplay would look like and how it would feel. Honestly, when I first saw this, I thought this game was already way smoother and way more polished than Hollow Knight was. And I still think this is the case. I mean, just look at this boss fight we saw at the end. This is Leth. She's one of the characters shown in the previous blog post, and just in this fight alone, the level of smoothness is just top notch. So just imagine what the game itself would be like. Also wait, is that the waterfowl dance move from Elden Ring? Did Elden Ring actually copy Silksong? Surprisingly enough, this was the only gameplay we ever got that revolved around Silksong. And from this point onward, the game would enter a deep slumber following a holiday sign-off blog post from Team Cherry, which would also be their last blog post. As the world entered a new decade, it was suddenly hit with a very peculiar pandemic that had everyone on the edge of their seats for a little over 2 years. And it's safe to say that this pandemic most certainly impacted the development of the game. There was absolutely no news. The game was in a coma. This was quite weird because the Nintendo Treehouse event told us that Silksong would be coming soon. But as the months went by, this began to feel further from reality. I can understand this silence from Team Cherry. If the game was stuck in development hell due to the pandemic or just lack of ideas in general, this silence was justified. It's easy to feel like you're not doing enough or being good enough to satisfy the fanbase's ravenous expectations, and this might have been what they were feeling. They may have felt that the game was just unfinished and continued its development in this long silence. Although in February 2021 we had a small Edge magazine featuring the game, giving us some small information about the gameplay which was honestly useless. Like what? There's no point to this information. Surprisingly enough, this silence actually had a positive impact on the game's hype and anticipation. I think this is quite interesting, as this game is clearly keeping the fans on edge, building hype as more and more days go by, with all its memes, fan-made content, and more funny shenanigans going on. This hype, of course, is not all positive. The silence was starting to get annoying to most people who had begun to hate the developers of the game for this. And to me, that is just stupid. I can understand people being annoyed about this, and trust me, I was annoyed as well, but I don't think hating the developers is ever justified because they are staying silent. We don't know what they were going through at this dark time, and we probably never will. This silence finally ended on June 12, 2022, when Xbox had posted a new trailer for Silksong featuring many things we have not seen before, and most importantly, Xbox fucking confirmed that the game would be coming out within the next 12 months. This is such a big deal after that long and painful silence, and the community was hyped up. I mean, why wouldn't it be? The game would be coming out very soon after all. The only thing that was weird was that Team Cherry never confirmed this in an official blog post. But oh well, what can go wrong? In May of 2023, during the long anticipation for the Silksong release, a tweet was posted by the marketing and publishing manager Matthew Griffin, commonly known as Leth. Hey gang, just a quick update about Silksong. We have planned to release in the first half of 2023, but development is still continuing. We're excited by how the game is shaping up, and it's gotten quite big, so we want to take the time to make the game as good as we can. Expect more details from us once we get closer to the release. Silksong was delayed. This was unexpected, but some people were getting worried that Silksong had been taking so long in that 1 year time span we were given. Team Cherry never even publicly gave us any update to confirm that the game would be coming out. This delay seemed to be due to Team Cherry's philosophy in game development. They have this unique way of doing things that revolves around continually adding new content to the game as they're developing it, which is most likely a good thing unless feature creep takes over, but that is subjective. All in all, the game was delayed, and people were of course quite annoyed. I remember seeing this when it happened and thinking that is the end of the world, but here we are. One good thing about this was that we actually had gotten an update, not by Team Cherry, but at least a person working directly with them. After the delay, people were hoping that we will get some sort of news on the countless Nintendo Directs that happened, but it was all in vain, and we did not get a single shred of news until next year. In early 2024, someone on the Hollow Knight Discord was able to extract the metadata of the original Silksong trailer that had been released back in 2019, and we could see the names of all the clips shown. This wasn't really anything special, but it really shows how determined this community is, still being able to dig up such small and useless pieces of information even after so many years of waiting. And it goes back to my previous point that this way for the game had really empowered the community and built up the hype way more than it should have. Then February arrived. February of 2024 was the 5-year anniversary since the announcement of Silksong, and the community was expecting something at least. Keep in mind that the game was delayed, and at this point it has been close to a year since that delay. It was Valentine's Day, and I was waiting for something to happen, just like everyone else. As the hours went by, that hope of getting something was starting to turn into despair, as the anniversary already passed in Australia, where Team Cherry is located. But then, out of seemingly nowhere, Leth posted a simple message in the Hollow Knight Discord. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. In case you were wondering, we're still hard at work on the game. Looking back at this now, this really was a tiny piece of news, but back then it felt really grand. Keep in mind that it has been 5 years since Silksong has been announced, and the community was hungry for at least something. And fortunately, we got that something in the form of a simple statement letting us know that Team Cherry is still working on the game. Now, it is quite weird that Team Cherry did not acknowledge the 5-year anniversary, but they probably did not want to feed the ravenous fanbase in case the game still wasn't ready. But that is just up to speculation. However, this was not the end of these tiny pieces of news. Later in the same month, someone made a Reddit post asking if Crowsworn would be released before Silksong. If you don't know what Crowsworn is, it's an upcoming Metroidvania game by Mungoose Rodeo. The reason why this is important is because Leth works for both Silksong and Crowsworn. This post mostly went unnoticed, until suddenly Leth ended up replying to it, just saying that there's no chance Silksong will be released after Crowsworn. Which, hey, this is good. I mean, Crowsworn is probably set to release sometime in 2024, so we wouldn't have to wait much longer, right guys? At this point, nobody really knows what to expect. You may have noticed that Leth has been popping up way more frequently in recent months, and the reason for that is obviously due to the silence of Team Cherry, but Leth honestly deserves a lot of respect for what he's doing. Assuming there's a reason for all this silence, he's doing a really nice thing for this community and reassuring us that the game is close. And he really doesn't have to. This became especially true when a user on Reddit posted about meeting Leth in person during a Day of the Devs event, where a demo of Crowsworn was shown. I am having Nintendo Treehouse flashbacks right now. All in all, Leth confirmed again that Silksong will release before Crowsworn and that the game is close. On April 1st, I know, crazy date, Leth posted on his Twitter account that Silksong had a Microsoft Store page. This was huge, especially because it had an ESRB rating attached to it. If you don't know, the games usually tend to get rated close to the release. This graph shows as well. Unfortunately, quickly after this, a Reddit post was made talking about how ESRB ratings are quite easy to obtain and that it probably means nothing at the end of the day. And Let's seemingly confirmed this already. But Silksong got rated elsewhere. Back in February, this game got rated on a strange Korean website, and according to a bunch of sources, the only way you can get rated on this website is if the reviewers of the product finish it from start to finish, which is just absolutely crazy. Unfortunately, this is most likely not the case, as this website was found to be listed with the other websites that let you get a rating quickly. So this probably means nothing at the end of the day, but there is a small glimmer of hope, I guess. Just 3 days after the Microsoft page went live, one of the official Xbox YouTube accounts made a community post telling people to wishlist the game. What is interesting about this is that someone left a comment and the account actually replied, only stating the following. The weird thing is that this comment seemingly got deleted just a few hours after it was posted, which is very peculiar. At the current moment, this is where we stand with the state of the game, and there have been no updates since. I am pretty hopeful that Silksong will be released this year, and when it does, I will be sure to play all of it and make a video about it. I have been waiting for this game since it was announced, and seeing it finally being this close to releasing is great. Fellow Hollow Knight fans, if you got this far, consider subscribing. My Discord is also on the screen right now if you wish to speak to me. I will probably not make videos for a little while after this one goes up, but I will be coming back with a big one soon enough. Thank you for watching and have a good night.